Hello and welcome to the preview here on the Fulhamish YouTube channel. We're looking ahead to Fulham's SW6 derby against Chelsea on Sunday, Easter Sunday, at Craven Cottage. We broke that curse at Stamford Bridge after Christmas. Can we do the double over Chelsea for the first time since God knows when? To discuss and look ahead to the match with me from the other side of the pond and the other side of the SW6 divide is Dan from London is Blue. Dan, welcome to Fulhamish.
Yeah, it's great to be on. And look, when we were over visiting London and a couple weeks ago, we were able to go see the Crystal Palace Fulham match in the FA
Oh,
Cup, which was not a great day out for you. But the West Stand is amazing. So the River Stand that you guys have got right now is fantastic.
yeah. The less said about that game, definitely for the better. That was a pretty painful one for Fulham. London is Blue, of course, also part of the Good Men in Blazers ship, which is incredibly exciting to have you guys on. Well, look, Dan. I think there's a lot of excitement from a Fulham perspective about this game. We're obviously on the verge of a European place. We're fighting with, it looks like, Bournemouth and Brighton for a potential Conference League spot, something that no doubt I can quiz you on later about the merits of qualifying for that certain competition. But it feels like, from my distant look, that Chelsea fans are getting a little bit uneasy, particularly about this match and just with recent form. It's not been a great few months, really.
No, I mean, ever since the middle of December, it was kind of like the tale of Cinderella. It's like, okay, like everything started to change in one moment and it all went back to a form of Chelsea that we were accustomed to maybe at the beginning part of last season, where we're struggling, not able to finish chances, not able to get through an entire match, playing 45 minutes of football versus 90 minutes of football. And the challenge is, when you're only playing 45 minutes of football, you don't tend to win a lot of matches that way. You can only potentially draw or lose the match that you have. I mean, losing matches, to teams like Arsenal might be expected because obviously of where they are, where their form is this season. But drawing against Ipswich Town, drawing against Brentford, just beating up on teams in the Conference League competition doesn't bring the most joy to Chelsea fans at this moment, given that the end goal that we would have is to be back in the Champions League next season. And we are absolutely making it as difficult as possible for ourselves to actually make that happen in what feels like a very soft top four this year.
Yeah, top five, obviously, that
Yes.
gets the Champions League. Do you have any hope? I mean, it looks like, again, I don't think Fulham have ever been in that mix, although we've been occasionally talked about it. But it looks just like Villa, Newcastle, and Man City are so strong right now, and obviously Forest have the points tally. It just feels from the outside like, is the Champions League really on?
I would say it is less likely that we get into the Champions League than we do into a Europa League spot. I mean, just
Yeah.
mathematically speaking, I think it's like Opta would say that we have a 25% probability of qualifying. I don't know if they're taking into account everything that we're seeing as Chelsea fans, because I feel like that 25 is very generous. I will take that 25% probability and ride it all the way to the end of the season. You do have big matches coming up against Nottingham Forest and against Newcastle, which are effective 6-pointers. And so that would put you in the position to be able to get into that top five range. But we do not have the easiest of draws like a Man City heading into the final run of the season, or maybe even an Aston Villa, where they will have a little bit of an easier time to potentially qualify. So we would love to win this match. I don't think we're going to make it easy for ourselves, though.
Obviously, we're recording this before you play Legia Warsaw on Thursday night in the Europa Conference League with a 3-0 away kind of lead for Chelsea going into this match. Can't imagine that Maresca's going to play his strongest lineup for what effectively is job done, right?
You would imagine so. I mean, we need to protect players like Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Marc Cucurella. People have been pretty, I think, exceptional for us this season, and protect them for this weekend's fixture, the Sunday fixture, so that we don't have the situation that we had over the last, I would say, 3 matches, where he kind of rested on the Brentford game to win the Warsaw match, and then also didn't have the right players fresh for the Ipswich Town match, which was really unfortunate because all of those 3 matches were rare for the taking. And so you'd imagine if we get through this one, we could play a couple of the youth academy players who had a chance to play, anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes in that first leg because of the way that we capitalize there. So ultimately, you would expect Chelsea's strongest lineup to feature. The challenge, though, really, as we know, Sammy, is will they show up to score goals, which has been really a challenge for players like Nico Jackson and Cole Palmer, which you guys seeing them with an inability to score with regularity has to give you and buoy you completely heading into this one.
Yeah, well, 100%. I mean, what is it behind, particularly obviously Cole Palmer's drop off? I mean, I know a lot of Chelsea fans really rate Nicholas Jackson, even though he doesn't always find the nets with such regularity. It looks like such a strong squad on paper. And obviously at the beginning of the season, it felt like, oh, Chelsea have too many players. And then all of a sudden by the end of the season, it's like, wait, there's not enough to fill the squad. Like, I just don't quite understand how it demised so hard from kind of the latter end of the year where you were in a title race for a couple of weeks to this position now where the Champions League is very unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a situation where you think about Cole Palmer at this point over the last 5 matches has 2 assists. Like, that is a very low return for someone that last season was absolutely lighting up the storm, 40 goal contributions across all competitions. He's at just over half that right now, 22. I mean, so his total, like per 90 minus penalties, is like a 0.59 per 90. So it was 0.77 last season. We were always expecting some type of drop off, but we thought maybe it would be more of a metered, okay, not every match he's doing something, but maybe like every other match or every other match. That's not what we've gotten. We've gotten a really just kind of downturn. And I think some of that came with Nico Jackson not being available for a long period of time because their partnership last season was really, I think his role, Nico Jackson, served as a catalyst for drawing attention away from Cole Palmer, helping create space for him. And also, I think he was unknown. Now he gets into a situation where 2-3 players are making it really difficult for him to find any type of passing lane to get through and work through. He's always being looked for. And so that has required others to step up. Crazy goal scorer, Mark Cucurella coming out of nowhere. Like, we are finding some goals from other players on the pitch, but the challenge is that none of them have the same scoring velocity as what Nico and Cole Palmer were able to do last season. Without replicating that, we're in a really tough spot there.
And what do you make of Maresca? I mean, again, from the outside, thought, wow, they finished the season strongly under Poch. I kind of was there thinking, it was fun, the banter era of Chelsea while it lasted, but looks like it might be over. And then seemingly Poch gone, now managing, of course, in the US. And I always just thought Maresca was a bit of an odd choice. Like, sure, he won the championship. Sure, he was Pep's kind of assistant, but didn't really feel like what he'd done gave him the credentials to manage a team with as much kind of like pedigree as Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at his back half of the season for Leicester and his back half of the season for Chelsea, I mean, they're basically below mid-table form in that, he was, I think, 13th in the championship with Leicester last season for the back half of the year, the second half. And he's currently taking Chelsea, who are, in the top, 6 at the moment. Chelsea's form since December is 14th in the Premier League. Like, it has not been good enough. I think the excuses are, trying to place it back on the fans in the latest one. And I think there's criticism on English isn't the first language and the interpretation is open. But, the last group of people you want upset at you heading into, I think, another crucial game, a series of crucial games rather between now and the end of the season, is the supporters who are there to try to cheer you on, try to cheer cheer the players on to execute appropriately. And so I think it has soured, and I think the real challenge is if he actually qualifies for Champions League and wins the Conference League, and with the Club World Cup coming up in the summer within a month of the end of the season, he's not going anywhere. I think the only way he's going anywhere is if Chelsea don't get the Champions League spots and don't win the Conference League for some reason, which is not necessarily a guarantee with Betis and Fiorentina on the other side of the bracket there, who will definitely make life difficult for the first time for Chelsea in the Conference League.
Yeah, well, that's a nice one to move on to. What have you made of the Conference League? Obviously, Fulham fans are desperate to qualify for it. It feels just like a competition made for teams kind of like Fulham, really. Obviously, we do have European pedigree, but it's not been for a while. Yeah, the quality of the opponent, especially the ones that Chelsea seem to have been drawn against, seems very questionable at best. But obviously, like, must still be fun to be in a European competition that you can win, even if it's not the Champions League, where obviously you would want to be.
Do you like exotic locales? Do you like historic stadiums? Do you like the highest level of competition? Because the Conference League is none of that, Sammy. None of that is coming up with the Conference League. It is, I think, a very good opportunity for teams who to get exposure, to obviously increase the downflow of dollars, to I think expose people to the fact that football just isn't Eurocentric in the way that it has been with just Spain and Italy and France and England. Like there actually is more to football beyond that, and I think that has been exciting. I think there have been some players that I've been interested in terms of maybe not for Chelsea, but just maybe across a larger Blue Co portfolio, because we're just now a multi-club type of institution here with American ownership. I do think it's been interesting to see that. I think I would have liked to see more players in Chelsea who are, I mean, we have a very young team to begin with, so it's hard to say. I want to see our younger players get an opportunity, because they need to explain, what do you mean by younger players at Chelsea? They're all young. To see academy players potentially progress up, get more opportunities there, which didn't happen the entirety of the season. And I do think that's partially the challenge of having a new manager come in, wanting to get the team ready, to get understanding between players and combinations there, so you could kind of give him some credence maybe with the first couple of games. But we're only starting to see at the very tail end of the season opportunities for some of those players, and you feel like you could have done that a little earlier. So I think it's great for any type of team that is looking to, I think, continue to improve like the awareness of that team, the awareness of it. I think any team in the kind of 6 to 10 spots within the Premier League would love the opportunity to have some type of European competition. And there's a trophy at the end of it. And we all like trophies, because most of us have them, and Spurs don't. It's really great. We all like to be able to lord that over them.
Yeah, exactly. And Fulham aren't exactly flushed with the Miva, in fairness. So that does sound nice. Okay, what are we making of this match then? And how much did the defeat in December matter to Chelsea? It felt like I wasn't very confident going into that game, and for it to turn around the way it did, it was seismic for Fulham, right? There's just no two ways about it. It was the first win at Stamford Bridge since the 70s. It was, many people listening to this will say it was probably the best match of their lives. Like, it was honestly that big for Fulham. Did it matter? Did you care? Did you just kind of get on with your Boxing Day? Like, how seismic was it? Because it did start a little bit of a downturn.
Yeah, I mean, it was also one of the last Cole Palmer goals that I remember in particular, and that one starting off the match very early. You thought Boxing Day was going to be great, and then in the dying minutes of that fixture, and you end up getting the Muniz goal in the 90th plus 5th minute, and it just absolutely completely changed the story. I mean, obviously, I think there's been strong investment in Fulham, and you guys have a kind of continually improve the squad with I think smart additions. Obviously, surprise, the accent would tell you I'm American, Chelsea fan. Then also like seeing Anthony Robinson do well and getting a chance to see him play. And so I think that this came as a part of that series of matches for Chelsea where we saw a de-evolution in the quality of football. It would have been more in my memory if not 4 days later, Chelsea got the 2-0 loss to Ipswich Town, which was really just absolutely soul crushing. So I think if we kind of frame it to us as supporters, we're like, okay, we that started the run. Like, we had ended up before early in December, we had beat Tottenham 4-3, and that kind of comeback, which was really great. We ended up beating Brentford 2-1. And then we had that 0-0 draw against Everton, which they were kind of finding form again. So the warning sign wasn't going off, but the Fulham one was the start of the, oh, wait a minute, that's not good. Well, we have Ipswich Town, so we can fix it then. That didn't happen. We go play Crystal Palace, so we'll try to fix it then. No, it's a draw. We'll go try to fix it versus Bournemouth. That didn't happen. Another draw. So that was the start. So somehow Fulham was the start of the downturn. So I have to blame it all on you.
Oh, happy to be the start of that downfall. Gladly. So this Sunday, what are you predicting? I've got a I think a lot of Fulham fans are optimistic, which I always think is a really dangerous sign when Fulham fans are optimistic, because I always think they're the moments, they're the ones. We're all optimistic for that Palace game, which you saw firsthand. So how do you see this going? Can you see a plucky Chelsea victory here?
I would hope for a plucky Chelsea victory. I think the challenge is, I mean, you guys have also beaten Liverpool recently, and they are a much better side than this Chelsea team at the moment. I mean, you played Bournemouth, I think, very well. It was maybe unfortunate to end 1-0 in that one. So you also had no trouble with Tottenham, which, we had some trouble with Tottenham, which is very unfortunate recently. So I think I can't trust who we have in goal. And that always tells me that I cannot project a win at this point because I do not feel comfortable about the individual between the sticks. So I can only at maximum predict a draw, which is not going to be enough for this Chelsea team to qualify for the Champions League or to kind of improve their credentials there. And nor will it be enough to stave off the questions around Maresca's position. But the most I will be willing to predict on this moment is a draw. And that is a very, very sad place for me personally to be. And I wish I wasn't saying that.
Right. Well, there we go. I mean, I think probably I'd just about be happy with a draw as well. I think one thing it would end is Fulham's 8-game win-loss, 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 win-loss run, which is
Now let's break that up.
yeah, it's getting a little bit tedious, although I'd love it to continue one more game at least, and then hopefully against Southampton the following week. Maybe the run can break then. Either way, that would be good. Dan, thanks so much for chatting to Fulhamish, and we'll see what happens on Sunday.
Yeah, best of luck to you all, and happy Easter for those who celebrate on the day.